All right. What's up, everybody? Pudge Fernandez here with another episode of Hot Pudge Sunday Instagram Live. Yes, episode 7. Very happy to be here. Glad you guys are here. Usually I have something to say in the beginning, but let's just go for the jugular and introduce our first guest. Actually, our only guest. I've only had one guest. I don't know why I said first guest, but yes, every Sunday, one guest, one-on-one with me, the one and only Meghan Hanley. Air, straight out of New York, representing one of my favorite comics. I enjoy performing with. Totally ass kicker. There she is.
Wow, talk about that. I'm not even going to talk up front. Let's turn this over to Meghan.
No, let me tell you, it's weird. It's not that I don't want to talk. It's just it's how do I say this? Remember the good old days of the coronavirus? Remember those days when everything was peaceful?
Yeah.
And we were just at home waiting for everything to open up and just hanging out and doing extracurricular activities at home and stuff. Remember those good old days?
Yeah, we're just trapped on our own minds, dealing with our own baggage.
Yeah, it was so simple then. And now we're in the middle of we go from a pandemic to the situation we have in our country, our great country, United States of America. Yeah. I don't know. I'm feeling weird. I don't know how you feel. You know,
of course. That's why I was like, oh, Pudge will do a couple minutes up top on this. And then I'll be able to chime in. Now I'm like, oh, I am now. We're starting this in so anybody who's Robin Shaw. Hey, Robin. So I messaged Pudge earlier and I was like, listen, we plan to do this like a week and a half ago. And I was like, Pudge, if you want to have somebody on that it's been playing more of an active role in what's been happening right now, I will not be offended. Instead of having the girl on that looks like she could work for Fox News.
Wow. No, listen, no. I wrote, listen, you're here. You were it. You're perfect. I don't want to go unless, okay, if you were to get bumped, because that's what it sounds. You want me to bump you for somebody with more social, critique and all that. No. I mean, you're good, mate. I wanted you, and you're perfect. And yes, under the normal circumstance, I would have spoke for 2 or 3 minutes, and you'd come on and we talk shop. Yeah. But it's just feeling weird. Like I usually have a project earlier in the day, a Hot Pudge Sunday Facebook Live, that I just didn't feel. I didn't go. I missed the first episode. I didn't do it today, and it's just awkward. Like, what would it feel like if if everything was open and we were doing comedy? Would you feel comedic? Would you feel like being funny? I'm almost glad we are in the shutdown.
Yeah, it would be an interesting thing. I mean, we performed, I feel like, under every circumstance, I guess, I'm trying to think. I had started doing some like mics and stuff. I'm trying to think like around, I was already doing mics around like 9/11. So, I mean, even that, like, you're kind of like, well, you just get back on stage, you get back, and do it. But it's like in the midst of this right now, I think it would be one of those things that on stage you'd maybe address it as you'd want to, and then you'd like tell your jokes. But we're dealing with something right now that is needed to be addressed for a really long time. Yeah. I think there's finally it feels like at least there's finally real conversations happening. I know that I'm from a family of police officers, and that's why it's always sort of a tough thing, because you don't want to be against the police, but they have to be called out when things, aren't right, and when there's actions that aren't right. And even when I saw this story, like, I just was like, oh my God. Like, I think my first reaction when I see stories like this is like, oh my God, this can't be real. Like, there has to be something, this isn't right. But also, like, I need more information. I think that right there is white privilege right away, because I'm not seeing it and I'm not filled with fear. I'm going like, I'm fearful for the nation, but I read it and go like, there has to be more information. Like, and you go, no. And then the more information I got with the case, it was like, oh my God, this is even more horrifying than it could be. And then I started being like, okay, I have to be more vigilant. I have to be more active. I have to be more engaged. But before I even wanted to post anything, I still was like, I felt like I still had to like text my dad. I just wanted his response. And either way, I decided like how I felt about it. But I still was like, I gotta just send a message. And when I sent him the message, and I was like, Floyd, I was like, this situation is horrifying. And he wrote back, and he was like, what that officer did is unconscionable. And he said, he's like, when the police handcuff you, it is your job to protect that person. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, this is a dialogue
So
we can have.
So with the people who are on the job in your family, have you had open conversations about this before? Has it come
Well,
up?
at this point, nobody's on the job anymore. But it's something that like it kind of comes up, but kind of doesn't, you know. And I even have like friends and that it's just such a hard thing because I feel like people feel like it's like all or nothing, and that's not what it is. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like all or nothing against law enforcement. It's just against when things are done wrong, you know, calling people out for it and the responsibility of it. And, you know, but everything escalates. Then things escalate. The quicker things escalate, the harder it is for that to be achieved. You know, like that's what gets so tough. Because I think there's a lot of people that they just are like, oh, come on, things are fine. Let's just go back to how they were. And you're like, no, they weren't good. Things can't just go back to that, you know? So I know, I think for a lot of white people, I think when they see that now people are looting and rioting, they're like, good, this is my excuse to turn off. Like I can go, oh, see, looting and rioting. See, all right, this is unnecessary. And you're like, no, like no one wants looting and rioting, but there's a reason it happened. Let's get to that. Let's talk about that.
Right. Everybody embraces, there's certain people, like they kind of irk me. Like, first of all, it's a cycle. We've seen this cycle before. Something happens with the police and a civilian, usually a civilian, black, Latino, whatever. And then there's protesting, and somewhere the protesting goes some kind of a riot, and then people lunge at it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, see, there you go, and there it is, and oh, what about? And it's like, you know, I like to do things in chronological order. I'm old fashioned like that. If we took care of the initial issue, there wouldn't be a B, C, D, E, and F. You know what I'm saying? So I wish more people would open their eyes to that. I mean, nobody who's condoning looting?
Yeah.
Who's condoning fires and setting a precinct on fire? Who's condoning it?
Yeah.
I think the difference is some of us understand.
Yeah.
It's just this peak frustration that just boils. I mean, it's no different than I hate to use it as an example, but a marriage. Here you have two parties, and I speaking for myself, we've been at odds, and we hit this peak frustration, and then really the claws come out because there's no communication and there's no understanding, and nobody's willing to give. Well, this is almost similar. It is a relationship between law enforcement and civilians. And the communication is not happening. There's no understanding. There's no empathy. And look what happens. The worst comes out in people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's where we are now. And it's just not feeling good.
Yeah. Well, I think the other side of it is that there is some like that a lot of times the good things that are happening aren't getting highlighted. You know, that when there are like programs that people are reaching out and community programs that really work. You know, I get it. That's not like people don't see that as newsworthy, so it doesn't get highlighted. And then it's like, if you're only seeing the worst, then people go, there is never any progress. You're like, no, we still have so far to go, but there is
they don't magnify the positive. I mean, I think I saw, was it in Flint where the cops marched with the protesters side by side?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was in Detroit. Yeah.
That's pretty
groundbreaking. Or Flint. Yeah.
Flint or somewhere. That's groundbreaking. That's cool. That's totally cool.
Yeah.
You know, another picture where the actual cops who were lined up were the other ones holding up the sign, you know, stop the violence.
Yeah.
So it's
that is like a huge step in this. This is the first time I've seen anything like this happen, where then on the news you have, you know, police commissioners going on and saying like, this doesn't represent us, and that's a huge step. I mean, that hasn't happened in any of the other cases where they've come out and said like, no. This is not, you know, so that's, you know, you hope that it will lead to more discussion and just, you know.
Yeah, something. And just, and the other thing that irks me is you're gonna have these people, the ones who complain about the protesting and the violence, and they're like, oh, it should be peaceful. If there was another way, peace, a peaceful protest, a peaceful. I'm like, yeah, we had that. Kaepernick was trying to hold it down by himself, and everybody jumped on his back
Yeah.
because of it.
Did you see? I put up. Somebody else had it in their story. Um, that of all people are signing in now that I'm friends with. I was not put on here to talk about any of this. People are like, oh, is Meghan like this voice of reason? No, I'm like the white chick that comes on. I'm like, I have something to say. No, but there was a post that was up that I thought was great that I shared in my story, and it was like the 4 different pictures, and it was essentially it was like, why can't they protest peacefully? And then it was a picture of Kobe, of course, with the I Can't Breathe shirt, and it was like, but not like this. And then it was Kaepernick kneeling down. It's like, but not like that. And then it was a picture of the cast of Hamilton. It was like, but not like that. And it's like, yeah, that's what's going on here. It's like, so when things were done in a constructive, peaceful way on a national level, that was all wrong.
It's not all of America, but it is that fraction that stopped the Hamilton, the Kaepernick, the Kobe. It's that fraction that keeps. I mean, you can't please them, and they're always just not content and always complaining, and they don't. I mean, it's the lack of empathy and understanding across the board.
Well, yeah, that's so much of it. And I think for me, it's been, I can say this is like, as a white person, all of this over the past couple of years, I always thought I was someone that had my eyes open. And I think I've been shocked by how much I've learned over the past few years, just from listening to people, and just reaching out to friends and just trying to, that's what I mean, everybody should be doing. Just listen to people. People get so defensive right away. You're like, talk to your friends, listen to them, listen to their experiences, hear what they've been through. This is not about you. You're fine.
I think, yeah, you know what? I learned a lot throughout the course of the years, because especially when I served in the military, because I spent time.
Thank you for your service.
No worries. Everything turned out okay.
No worries.
The only thing we invaded was a strip club. That's as far as I'll go. But that's another story.
We can get to that later.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. My wife's taking a shower, so she's not listening. But it's this. I call it innocent ignorance. The lack of knowledge. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because people are not exposed, so they feel a certain way. But I know a lot of those people, if you expose those people, if you bring those people, if you show them, I'm sure they'll understand. It's like in the beginning, like back not too long ago, it was a big anti-Muslim thing. If you say Muslim, somebody will say, "Oh my God, terrorist." In New York, if you say Muslim, you're like, "Oh my God, I'm hungry. I would love a falafel and the hot, with the white sauce." You know what I'm saying?
Because we're so Staten Island. Don't go.
Yeah. Anyway, but it depends. But some parts of the country just don't know. And here in New York, we're surrounded by everybody. So we're just used to it. And we have this understanding. I mean, you just take a ride on the 7 train and you'll see every religion and every race on it eventually. But then when I was stationed in Texas, I saw the simplicity. It was kind of shocking. I saw, okay, you were either black, white, or Mexican. And I was called Mexican 199 times. You Mexican? No. Anyway, actually, that's one of my bits.
Just on the street like that.
Just when I met people, you must be Mexican. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's actually a bit. I don't know. You never heard it? I was like, I've done that bit.
I have, yes.
Yeah, it's just but it comes from the truth. And I didn't hate these people. I looked at them in the beginning, weird, but then I understood. Hey, it's just not. It's your geography. It's where you are, and and here I am. I can be an ambassador to New York and what we have. And there are other Latino countries, Colombia, where my parents and family came from. So it's just a matter of communication, understanding. And like I would love to bring some of those Muslim hating people, for example, to New York City for a couple of weeks and say, hey, look, they're not too bad. You don't even know, and believe it or not, if I take them to Brooklyn, the funniest part, they live right next to the Jews. So I don't know what's happening in the Middle East, but the Muslim and the Jews, they're right next to each other in Brooklyn, and everything is okay. You know what I'm saying? It's hilarious. It's
But
hilarious.
I think you should definitely be the ambassador for this because I mean you're not embarrassed to wear Met gear in public. I mean,
Oh, oh,
you
oh!
want to be the
Stop it!
ambassador for New York, and look at the with pride you're wearing that Met hat.
Mm, Stop it! Stop it!
You know what I
I'm
have right
waiting
now?
for.
This is how I'm like
I'm.
just segueing topics. I this is what I just got. I think I'm the only person that's ordering Netflix DVDs still. And so
Oh,
I have been
they still do
ordering
that?
I guess I'm like the only one still doing this. So so I miss baseball incredibly. So I'm one of those people that like I never understood why people like DVR sporting events, and now I'm like, oh man, I wish I had a bunch of games on DVR. Although ESPN's been playing some. So I
Yeah. Yep.
started at the beginning of this. You can Netflix the New York Yankees Fall Classic Collector's Edition. So in my hand, I currently
Why would
have
I?
Game 5 of the
Why would I?
2000 World Series, and I'm quarantined with Met fans.
Why? Jesus fucking Christ! Why would I? Why would? You know what?
It's about
I'll tell.
understanding, Pudge. We just talked about understanding.
No, no, no. I know.
If you could just meet someone on the other side like me, you'd realize you don't have to do this to yourself. You're better than the New York Mets.
You know what? I'll tell you. I'll tell you something funny. That's where I was supposed to be today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So like on Sunday afternoons at 1 o'clock, I do Facebook Live from different
Oh, yeah.
locations
Oh,
around
okay.
New York. Like I did Flushing Meadow Park, Times Square, the Wall Street Bull. I did Coney Island. So every Sunday at 1 o'clock, I do it from a different location live. And
Okay.
Bronx was up the bat. So I said, what am I going to do in the Bronx? So I was supposed to go to Yankee Stadium today.
Who are they supposed to play?
Say again?
Who were they supposed to play? Do you know?
Oh, no, no. Right. No, they're not playing anywhere.
Well, I know, but
I was just,
do you know what this? Oh, I didn't. Oh, I thought you had like plans to go to the game before this started.
well, they haven't started playing yet. I was
No,
supposed to go
no.
today just to do. What do you mean?
Oh, I thought that like you had gotten like tickets before COVID and you planned on being there.
No,
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 no.
no, no.
You're
This
just
is
gonna go
just strictly
outside.
for the Facebook. Yeah, and just
Okay.
do
Okay.
a little light humor between Met and Yankee fans. Which
Yeah.
look, I got a Yankee fan right now, but you're not. But you're not an asshole Yankee fan.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I
You're,
disguise it
you,
well. I'm passive
you,
aggressive. I'm a passive
but,
aggressive Yankee fan.
but because I got no problem with some of the fans. It's most of the fans that act obnoxious and want to throw 27 world championships in my face every single time. Because that's your battle cry. 27 world championships. We got
Well,
27.
You know what you can say back to Yankee fans now, and you can say, and how many since 2000? Oh,
Yeah,
one. We had
yeah.
none this decade. That's the first time since the 80s. Now, granted, then people can be like, "Wow, when's the last time you guys won?" But really, it's been a rough go for us, you know.
Did you see the breakdown of how they want to do the league this year, as far as the whole restructure of the league?
No, but I don't. I have no
Exciting,
idea.
exciting.
Really?
So the last time I saw it, this is what they're gonna do. It's gonna be three leagues: East, West, and Central.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
And the East is made up of the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Phillies, the Nationals, and then the Tampa and Florida.
Okay.
How crazy is that? We're gonna be going head to head in the East. The
Because
Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Phillies, the Nationals. So it's gonna.
Heard about any of this. This is
That's
exciting.
that's what I heard. Yeah. So they just broke up the country in three because they have to contain, because of the virus and everything. They're not letting people go into the stadiums. They don't want people flying all over the country. So they're trying to contain it in a specific area. I think they might use little the minor league ballparks instead to play the games in a certain area. So yeah. So the East plays the East. So that contains that. The Central plays the Central, and the West plays the West.
Yeah.
So on the West, it's Oakland, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, the Angels, all in the same. So that's what. Yeah.
I didn't know about
so
this. This is that's pretty cool. I think
way cool.
that's very cool.
So now when we have a Subway Series, it fucking counts.
Yeah,
It's gonna.
no, that's cool too because it's everybody that already has. It's everyone has rivalries.
Yeah.
We probably won't be able to go to any of the games, but It'll still be cool to watch, you know.
Initially, no, but I think once we hit the playoffs, they should be opening up. I think that's
Who
the plan.
knows? I have no idea. I've given up on trying to
I
figure any of it out, you know, like because I've
I
gone through so many waves of like, oh, things will open around this date, and then I go, oh, my year's wiped out, which it still probably is, and then, and then who knows?
I personally, myself and my family, I gave us 2 dates. I just gave us
Okay.
2 dates to think about. I said baseball by the 4th of July
Yeah.
and September back to normal.
Yeah.
Everything else, throw it out your mind. If anything comes sooner or better, hey, that's icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to control and figure out in the numbers. But I figured give us baseball by July and open by September, and we're cool in the game. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. That's me.
It's also going to be interesting if they do reopen baseball again. Well, one, I think this is all right. First of all, they're saying that if they start the season, no matter when they start it, that all those days that nothing happened, those are going to count towards the suspension of all the Houston Astros, which it shouldn't because there were no games.
What a twist.
Yeah.
What
so they're going to, even if they don't have a season, they don't miss any of next season and not suspended anymore. Yeah. So that's like,
How convenient.
Yep.
Convenient.
There's that. And then, and the other thing is, this is like great for the Yankees because they were going to start the season on the DL, half of them.
Right.
So
Yes,
they're all going to be back.
Yeah.
And the Mets, I mean, wait, what's going on with Syndergaard? How long is he out? Are we done for the year?
Yeah, he's got the Tommy John.
Okay.
So next year.
Okay.
But still, I mean, we're well rested. And going back to your Yankees, and this is the only time I'll give them any kind of credit. But did you see the tweet by Chapman?
No, I've been so out of the baseball. I haven't been reading any sports stuff because it's like, I made a joke about this. I posted online. I turned off all my push notifications for ESPN and Bleacher Report because it felt like an ex texting me. And I was like, unless we're getting back together, like I can't hear from you.
Right. So what's his face? Your pitcher, Aroldis Chapman? Aroldis? Whatever. Chapman.
Chapman, yeah.
All right. So Mr. Houston Astros, the little one.
Yeah.
Altuve. Okay, so Major League Baseball and the Players Association are going back and forth with figuring out if they're going to play, how they're going to play. There's money involved, the Players Association, blah, blah, blah. So Altuve tweets his 2 cents as far as we should not be going back to play baseball under these circumstances of the coronavirus. It's very dangerous. We should not have the season.
Mm-hmm.
More or less, Altuve.
Yeah.
So Chapman responds, don't worry about the coronavirus. Okay, worry about my 101 mile an hour fastball that will be aiming at you. I've been practicing on a scarecrow in my backyard.
This is a quote?
Paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing. But he said, I'm practicing on a scarecrow in my backyard. It's taller than you, but I will adjust. So, direct threat, Chapman.
Direct threat.
It was hot, pretty hot. I'll tip my hat this one time to the Yankees. That was pretty hot. So for them, and now I feel like after what you told me, I think it's hotter. Yeah, their whole suspension is that's it. Look, it's gone. And now, what are they paying? What are they paying for?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I know. My uncle, I guess the players' union is whatever's going on with them. The players want to still get paid their like normal salary, and my uncle's like, "This is crazy. I'm not going to support baseball." I'm like, "Of course, like, well, yeah, there's no contract that says if in the event of a pandemic." I was like, of course the players' union's going to get them their money. Like, I don't think that's a reason to really protest baseball. Like, yeah, they're millionaires. Not like, it's not them as individual players. I'm like, there's a lot of bigger issues going on in the world.
Like, yeah.
He's like, Meg, what do you think about this? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care right now.
They'll figure it out. They're big boys, and they'll figure it out. It's just all money talk. Yeah. And I miss it dearly. I miss it so much. And as you mentioned, the games on ESPN.
Yes.
and the SNY and Yankee Network also. Everyone's playing games, but initially I can't watch them. I get mad. Like SNY, they're always playing Mecca. I can't watch them. I don't want to watch them. It just makes me mad. I don't. It's just like It's like it's reminding me of what I should be watching. I don't want to.
This is something, okay, actually, okay, so we've been watching the old games. Well, first of all, this is what I realized. Even just the Yankee games from the 90s, some of them are interesting to watch, but some, like the graphics barely exist. You know, talk about like how quickly a game has changed in the past like 20 years of just like technology, the game has sped up. Like you don't realize how slow it was till you go back and watch. So we're watching the late 91s. The ones from 96 actually were really awesome games. 98, it was like kind of boring. This one I think will be fun because it's like Mets Yankees. But we decided, we went back. So I'm quarantined with Met fans. So I go, guys, let's watch the 86 Game 6 World Series.
Okay.
Which I've seen clips, but you know, I was 5 at the time. I'd never really seen the whole game. This is a World Series game. And not only that, I mean, the Red Sox were coming close to winning. You wouldn't even know it. Like the announcers are so boring. This game is so slow. And then here's something that, of course, this is like such a quarantine thought you're having because this has nothing to do with anything going on in society right now. But talk about like focusing outrage on something. I think the Red Sox fans owe Buckner an apology because I thought, based on the reaction I've seen my whole life, I thought if the ball doesn't go through Buckner's legs, the Red Sox win the World Series. No, they don't.
No.
If the ball doesn't go through his legs, it's tied ball game and they go to extra innings.
Right.
I'm like, I can't believe this for all these years. And then they lost Game 7. Like,
because those are Red Sox fans. Those are Red Sox fans. Yeah.
Amazing.
But
my friend Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah. You missed it. We already did political talk. So just in case people are tuning in, they're like, wow, listen to these two only talking baseball. We talked political up top. And now
it was up top.
We're talking
social
baseball.
Justice up top. Social justice up top.
And also,
she can rewind it. It'll be on IGTV. She can rewind it.
Oh, no, is it? I don't know if I want. I don't even know what
my
I'm
YouTube channel. But funny you said Game 6. So all the games they've been showing, I don't want to watch. I can't watch. It just frustrates me. But when they go back to 86, I did watch 2 games. One of the playoff games against the Astros. Okay. And because I think I was in the American
League.
Yeah. And then the one I watched that I watched in its entirety, every second, every minute, every pitch was Game 7. Game 7 of the 86 World Series. And the reason I watched it is because I never saw it.
Oh.
And the reason I never saw Game 7 because I was outside the stadium during Game 7 trying to sneak in.
Oh my God. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and let me tell you, at the time, I became a Met fan when I moved into the neighborhood. My neighborhood was right behind Shea Stadium.
Okay.
So that was Corona, Queens, and that's where I became. My first game was my 5th grade teacher took me to my first Met game, and it was a wrap. And I ended up living at Shea. I used to ride my bike. I used to see the players. I used to get autographs. I used to hang out.
Oh,
I used to meet people. Yeah, I know a lot of stories, like backstories and little. There were people who worked for the Mets that didn't work for the Mets that worked for the players. I don't know if you heard stories about back in the '86.
Oh, sure.
A lot of I met a lot of
poppers.
I was a kid, but I was meeting these people. They all had connections, and they all knew the players. Anyway, when '86 comes around during the playoffs, I couldn't get tickets. I was trying so hard to get in some way, shape, or form, and I knew this guy. He was close with players. He knew a lot of visiting players, and he just knew a lot of major league players. So I bumped into him, and he's like, "Yo, kid, what's good?" I'm like, "Nothing, just hanging. I'm heading home. I want to go to the game, but I ain't got tickets." He's like, "Listen, you help me out. I'll get you into the game, you and your friend." I'm like, "Cool. What do I got to do?" He goes, "I got these tickets. I'm trying to sell them, but there's cops here. He's scalping, but there's too many cops. You guys are kids. They're not going to suspect you. You get me some buyers. I'll get you inside the stadium." I was like, "Oh shit, cool." So me and my friend split up. Eventually we got him some buyers. He sold 2 sets of 2 tickets, and he was happy. He made his money. He took us over to the press gate. He knew one of the security guards. He calls him over. He's like, "Hey, do me a favor. Let these two in." He goes, "They know what they're doing?" He goes, "Yeah, they're cool." And the security goes, "Go ahead." And we just shoot in the stadium. And
Nice.
and we saw Game 3 when Lenny Dykstra hit that game-winning home run over the right field wall
Oh
against the
man.
Astros.
So you were
So,
like, that's why you were like, we'll get in. They know us. You had it in. You're like, we're getting into game 7. Of course. We're cool.
well, here comes Game 7, and we're trying every which way to get in. We find our guy. He's like, it's mayhem. It's fucking there's what? How many thousand? 30? How many? What was it? 56, 57,000 people inside, and a couple of thousand trying to get in outside. It was mayhem. We ran onto our guy. He was like, "I'm out. I got no clue. I got no hook. I got nothing. I got nothing, kid. I got nothing." And me and my best friend are like, "Oh my god!" And everyone's trying to get in, and he slipped in at one point. The craziest thing I saw was there was a roar. We're trying to get into this one door somewhere, and there was a roar of men. It sounded like I don't know, like something was coming. And you know those barricades they use for the parades, those
Yeah.
metal
Yeah.
barricades. So like 6 guys holding the barricade, 3 on each side. It looked like a battering ram. They were running
Yeah.
with the barricade like a battering ram. They were like, "Oh!" Like men at war. They had their war faces. They're screaming, running, and they prop it up against the side of the wall of the stadium, and they climb and shoot up the ramp, and all of a sudden everybody bum rushes that ladder that they've created, and the cops swarm, and that about at least a dozen people got through. And I'm
Oh
watching.
man.
Holy shit, that is.
Oh my gosh.
And long story short, my friend got in. I lost
Yeah.
him. I was on the outside, and I just spent the whole game and celebrated. I was part of the celebration outside. And I
Yeah.
guess back then, this was our technology. Somebody had a Sony 4-inch screen black and white TV.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember those.
the little Sonys with the antenna. So a Sony black and white TV, and there was like 20, 30 people watching the last pitch. And, when Jesse Orozco struck out the last batter, and it was mayhem. It was absolutely,
Yeah.
it was a party. So I
Yeah.
never got to see the game, but I was part of the party outside. Totally
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Way
very
cool.
cool. Very cool. Very
And
cool.
then last week they aired the game, and I got to see it for the first time.
Oh,
And I
that's
was
so
like, holy shit.
cool.
I was like,
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey,
die
this is
hard,
what. Listen,
die hard.
I've had many games where I've gone to the game, and then you drink so much of the game, you get home and you're like, well, let's rewatch the game because I don't remember what happened. You boozing in the sun all day. I got hit with ball. I got drilled with a foul ball at one game, and we were all convinced that it was a Yankee. And then we were home, we watched it on TV, and we go, no, San Francisco Giant. We were in the wrong inning.
Oh, wow. You
Whoops.
got nailed by a giant.
I did, yeah. Boom.
Yeah,
It was like this welt. Oh man.
I miss those days. I got kicked out of Shea once. I was boozing a little hard, but yeah, I got right before
Ooh.
Shea closed. I got kicked out. Yeah, yeah. It was a nice little escort by
So
security.
you just got wait, what happened? What too drunk for
I was
Shea?
just too
I feel
loud.
like you're wow.
Yeah, I'm a Shea. No, we were. It was a typical night game. We had tickets upstairs. We snuck in downstairs. So first of all, we weren't in our seats,
Okay.
and I found another drunk fan. So
Yeah.
2 drunk fans just going back and forth, very loud, and they kicked me out and we didn't have tickets for that place. So but it was it
Did you
was
get
cool.
to go to
Nothing.
Shea jail? Did you go to the jail or just thrown out?
No, no,
Okay.
no. I was escorted out. It
Okay.
wasn't violent. I was just loud. I think one drunk fan found another drunk fan, and now
Yeah.
we're just drunk happy together. That's all. Nothing major. Nothing
Yeah.
major.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely good times. And and I love the fact that you love sports.
Yes. Yes. Big sports fan.
Funny story about you. I've always thought of you as a kick-ass comic.
Oh, thank you.
Comic with balls, to say the least. Because one of the funniest moments I remember is we were doing a show. You were hosting. Kick-ass.
I know. I already know. Sorry. This is a
It was
line I do
somewhere.
not use anymore.
It was upstate. I'm not going to say where. It was above the Bronx in a restaurant, particular one we do. And we were told, like a lot of comedians sometimes are told at certain shows, be careful, don't say this, don't say that, or be clean, or watch what you. And we're like, oh Jesus fucking Christ, let us do our thing, but we're given the. And then we're just curious to see what this crowd is because we're told, be careful, don't say this, and then you go on stage. I don't remember exactly what you said, but I believe it was something in regards to the Jets quarterback and the cock, or some was he sucked the
I'm
cock.
not
It was.
entirely sure.
You said I think
It was definitely a Tim Tebow joke.
was it a Tebow?
I
Oh,
think
okay,
it
it
was
was
a
T.
Tebow joke. It was a Tim Tebow joke.
Was it Team Tebow? I thought
Yeah.
he said he sucks cock or he sucks.
I
But
don't
you
even
just.
know I know what joke you're talking about. I don't do it anymore. Well, I even changed the wording of that, but yeah, it was a joke about like how it's weird when white players start like quoting God. Something along those lines,
Okay.
so I don't remember all of it. It was like an old bit that I don't do anymore. But it was just
I
something
just
about
know.
like how it's like creepy, like it's amazing. Like Mariano Rivera comes into like oh no, I can't remember how it all went. I don't know, but it was a Tebow joke that
I just remember it was Jets quarterback and a derogatory something about he sucks cock or something of that nature. And you
which
broke
now
the
I feel
ice.
like I'm so pretty much clean now. Like I can't even believe that's how talk about
But
like just
you no,
being ballsy
but
and
that
being
was
like, I know we
but that
get
was
killed.
beautiful. No, you opened the door. You did what a host does because we have been given these instructions by somebody. So be careful, be clean. It's an older crowd. They're very sensitive. Oh my, walk on eggshells, please. Walk, and we're like, and we're like, really? And then we're trying to figure out the crowd. We're looking at the
Yeah.
crowd. They look like cool people. You
Yeah.
go up there, you host, and boom. You said that, they explode, and me and the headliner are high-fiving each other like, hey, Megan just opened the door. Thank you, Megan.
It's so
Thank you.
crazy.
But thank you. That's ballsy. We were given instructions. You went up there. You felt them. You felt comfortable. You let it go, and they ran with it. And then we had a great show.
Now I feel like God, I'm such a pussy because I would never do that now I'm like, I was given instructions and I know how to kill while doing what the audience needs and wants. Now, like I was so much more like, wow, I'm doing what I want, and now I'm more like, of course I can do that. I can say what I need to say clean. Maybe I should go back to more of my old ways. But I remember that gig specifically. One, I was supposed to be there on yesterday.
Oh, shit.
I was supposed to be there
Wow.
yesterday.
Okay.
But, canceled obviously. And it was a big deal because before the two of us were there, they had only, this is maybe why I didn't care what I said up top. They'd only booked white men, and you were the first Latino person they had on, and I was the first woman. And this was a big deal for them. And I remember hearing this and being like, what?
We broke
Like,
ground.
we broke grounds at this club, and and
Going
it's
back to
weird.
social justice.
Yes, they're going back to social justice. We broke some grounds, Pudge.
We broken ground. Yes, we are the Jackie Robinsons of our comedy game. And that
What's so weird about that club is that because we worked it so early on, there were so many rules, and now there's not really. So
No.
it's kind of it's interesting because it's one of those places that like when I go there now, I realize like, all right, I can kind of just like I've had a couple incidents with that place where they were like saying I was talking to the crowd too much. They didn't want me featuring anymore. They're going to move me back to host because I talked to the crowds. They didn't think I had enough material, and I was so in my head because I remember them saying like you had to be so clean and be so this. So one time, but I went there and I should have done what I had done the first time I get there. And I finally was like, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. And this is probably the last time they're going to book me anyway. So I'll have a good show. And then I killed, and they were like, you were great. Can't wait to have you back. And I'm like, oh, so you should have just let us do our jobs from the beginning.
Hold on. Wait a minute. So, because wow, you were told one thing by somebody, as far as not being not you should have given. Let me say it like this. So, did you receive an email about what you should or shouldn't do? And
Oh,
then
yes.
when you got there, you did your thing, and they were like, yeah.
Well, I did cut out. I They had told me that I was talking to the crowd too much. They said she's like hosting as a feature. And I guess they saw it as meanwhile, I'm like, well, that's part of my style. Like if something's happening in the room, of course I'm gonna talk to the
Is
crowd. I'm
that
not
coming?
doing it to stall. Like I think they thought I was stalling time or whatever.
Is that
So
coming? Is that coming from the booker through the
apparently the
email?
booker and the owner.
Aha. Apparently.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna lean on the booker, and then this goes back to the first time you hosted that we broke ground, first
Yeah.
Latino, first woman. Um, and it's been said before. I've heard it before by our comedy elders, and now we're going through it. It's just people who have no clue what comedy is always end up to be the ones in charge of the booking and the producing, and they're clueless.
Yeah.
And they're clueless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First example, we get booked in a place where originally you said they were all white males. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew this because I was approached by the booker saying, "Hey, I need a white male." No problem. Hey, got a new spot. Hey, I can't wait to go up there. No, sorry, Pudge, white males only. I'm like, what? And then of course they saw, and then it was like, oh, walk on the eggshells, don't say this.
Yeah.
But when we got up there, like I said, thank you for what you did, but you saw the crowd, you felt the crowd, you knew where you can go, and you went there.
That's
See what
what
I'm
was
saying?
always so weird about that room. It's like anytime
Yeah,
anybody tries to regulate like a comedy room, you're like, how about you like the comics, you trust the comics, you know they're professional. If there's an incident that happens at the club where you go like, whoa, that was a real problem, then you don't have that person back. But when you start like saying, do this, do that, then you're ruining the
or
show. We're in our
and
heads,
they don't. They just. I feel better now that you got spoken to, because
Oh,
I thought
everybody has. I've talked to a lot of
oh,
people.
thank you. I feel better. Thank you. I thought it was. Do you know how tense I got? Do you know how tense I got? I'm like, are you kidding me? I just, and it's just, okay. So there was another time I got reached out to. It was the last minute. The host called out.
Okay.
So I get reached out. Pudge, I need a host. Oh my God, called out. Oh, no problem. I'll shoot up there. I'll take care of it. No, Pudge, you're a feature. I'm like, I can host too. It's okay. I can host. It's part of what we do. No, you're a feature. And I'm like, lady, I need to make money here. I'd love to do it. I get to do crowd work. I don't have to work. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is,
Yeah,
and
you're in
it's
a bind right
between
now. I
me.
need the cash. I'll take it.
And not to mention, I get to have some fun because it's not, a little less structured, loosey goosey. I can work a different muscle. That's the excitement about it.
Yeah.
30 minutes, I'm working on my structure, on my tight 30, which leads to my 45. And I have it opening up. All right. I can flex, I can loose, I can bounce, I can bob and weave and segue. And it feels great, looks great. I know how to host. And I'm like, no, you're a feature. And I'm like, oh,
Which,
come on,
in
you're
a
killing.
way, with that place, that's actually probably a good thing because they want to keep you at a higher level than move you down. And you're like, you know what? We don't need to confuse these guys. Next thing you
It's
know, the next
just,
email you get, they go, you hosted so well. Can you host from now on?
I was ready to make an offer. I was like, listen, I've seen some of your hosts. They're not hosting. They're just doing material. That's another thing. I'm nothing against, but hosting is a different muscle. Hosting is a serious position.
Well, that's the
And
thing. It's like you can tell how the quality of a club and how they value the host position. Like you work Gotham, and it's like Gotham values the host. The host gets paid more than the feature spot. They know that you are one. You can't leave. You're there for the whole show, and you're representing the whole show. You're carrying the show. You're making everybody comfortable from the start to the end, including the headliner. And especially at a place like Gotham, you never know who could walk in the door, and now you have the honor of bringing on stage. And they've got to know if you're up there, you can handle it and do it professionally. And then you have other clubs where they'll put brand new comics on as the host, and from the start of the show, you're like, the audience doesn't trust this show because they don't know what they've just walked into based on who just started on stage.
Yeah. Real quick, somebody's asking if I ever hosted at Ha Comedy Club. Captain Keith, no, I never hosted at Ha.
Hey, Keith.
Funny story about Ha. I auditioned,
I passed and never got booked. So it's one of those stories. You ever got one of I feel like every comic has that story. Yeah, I passed the audition and I never got called. So funny he brings up Ha. Yeah, no, I performed there a couple of times. I passed the audition and never got called. But oh well, it is what it is. But it's just the whole thing. The people who run it, it drives me insane. Thank you for sharing. See, because I feel better. I feel a little bit better. I thought I was
good.
Because I called some people and I'm like, are you kidding me? Look what I got. Look at the email. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? And then they said, you're doing the same old material. I'm like, well, who's okay? Who's complaining that I'm doing the same material? Is it the same waitresses and the waiters that are there? But every time I go there, I see different faces.
Mm-hmm.
And once in a blue.
Yeah, you're there once or twice a year.
And once in a blue, I'll get. If the place is packed with 75 to 100 people, there'll be one or two. Hey, Pudge, we remember you from last time. Okay, that's one or two. They can't be complaining that loud. So it's like, who the hell?
They're not.
Exactly. I know.
You know how it is. It's people like, bookers go, I have someone in a position and I like to keep them there because it's easier. That's why it's, it's harder to move up.
And I didn't think I was going to be booked again. I haven't, but overall, I love the owner. I love the food. Yeah. It's one of the perfect places. Yeah, it is very good. It
is really good.
and this is how I know I do good. Because I remember one time the owner came up to me after my set. He was like, he goes, you did good. You did real good. Go get the shrimp. Get the shrimp. Get the shrimp. Get the seafood. Get the shrimp. And I was like, oh, he's like, all right. The price. He just sent me to the price. So he gave me a heads up.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was a great place for comics because easy to get to, good pay, good food, and the owner was and the staff absolutely sweethearts.
Yeah.
I think the booker is the only one that irked me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the crowds are challenging sometimes. They were challenging, but then you can't expect perfection every single time. I ate it once.
Yeah. I've had some off and on. Yeah.
Because they really changed. The diversity, they really changed. So it is, but we just adjust. But it's just part of our life. But God, I feel better now. I'm going to go to sleep feeling. I thought I was the only one. I was like, what the fuck did I do? What am I doing? What am I not doing? What the fuck?
When I can tell you off the air. I'll tell you more off the air. Off the air, like it's like my mom watching. But I don't want all this on record, but I have more things that were said to me that I
Oh wow. Really?
Oh, more notes, more questions when I asked a headline. Oh yeah. Again, we're done here. We're done.
Oh wow.
Insider stories. Too bad we don't have like a Patreon page. It'd be like the Patreon insider comedy.
Wow. We will.
Yeah.
What do you do? What have you been doing this time? Do you have any shows of your own? Instagram, Facebook?
I was doing Instagram live shows. That's my mom. Hello D. Okay, I don't know if that's my mom, G-Force.
G-Force. You can't mess with a mom called G-Force. That's G-Force. Wow. Hi, Mrs. G-Force.
Yeah. I was doing Saturday nights in the beginning, the first 3 weeks. I was doing Instagram live shows, like hour-long shows from my apartment. And then I was kind of like adding materials. Then I did like one in the beginning of May. Those are kind of done now. And now I've been doing Meg's Mic, which I will have you on if I keep doing. I guess I'll keep doing. It's one of those. Okay, I do it on Tuesdays. It's like a little open mic variety show. So I try to work on a new bit or something new. Sometimes monologue jokes. Sometimes I tell an old story, read a script, something. And then I have like a comic on, some magicians, musicians.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's every Tuesday at 8:00 on Instagram Live. And then I'm going to do one next week during the day for like a lot of my friends overseas so they can watch it.
So you performed via like Zoom and Instagram and all that?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Zoom shows.
So what's your 2 cents?
I mean, they're nothing like a live show, but I enjoy I haven't had too many that are terrible. Like, I feel better after doing them.
Okay.
I've had some really really fun Zoom shows. I've gotten into some that are just like the crowds are really fun. They're a good time. Yeah, I mean, people are very like, it's not the same. It's not ideal. It's like, well, nothing right now is ideal.
Right,
Nothing's
right.
ideal. But compared to not performing at all, like they've been keeping me sane. I do a lot of corporate ones, and it's
Okay.
been fun. And I do some that are me and a couple and like one or two other comics, and those are usually if they're the best. I've done a few by myself, and those can feel really weird. So when you have the other comics, you feel like you're on a regular show. People are being brought on stage. It's fun for me
Okay.
because I stay and watch, So
I guess you got an if you
I
got a
like them.
national act, it's I from what I see, it's not for everybody. There's a lot of comedians who are like totally against it.
Yeah.
I see some comedians are swimming. They can swim in it. They're going. You seem to be one of them. I'm 50-50. I think I had a Zoom show. I only had
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
but I felt like I started off good. I started off strong. I was having fun, but then I felt lost in space because I didn't feel
It can
or
get that way,
hear.
yeah.
And then I'm like, it's like, it's frustrating because it's like, I know probably one joke didn't hit, but I'm not sure. And
Yeah.
some other jokes probably did hit, but I'm not sure. And I
Yeah.
can't react off of it. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay if you bomb a bit, but I want to
Yeah.
react off of it. And
Yeah.
if something hits, I want to react off it. So I just felt kind of floating in space, kind of. And I
Yeah.
just kept powering through it and
Yeah.
finished set. So.
Yeah, there's definitely some like that where you go, am I making the connection? Should I speed up? Should I slow down? Is it me?
Are you doing
And
it
then
on your
I'm doing
laptop?
it
Are you doing
I'm doing it on my phone because my phone I
Okay.
updated my phone, so my phone's new where my computer's so old that it's just
Okay.
it's just not good. I think if you have an updated computer, it's actually good to do because you can see more of the people where I kind of have to swipe to see them.
Right.
But yeah,
That's
for me, I can actually do the virtual background on here, and it's just I have a better camera. So I like standing up anyway. Usually, I like stand up with it. So that's what I like to use. But
okay. Okay.
but I don't know. It's been good just to keep me like even with doing the Tuesday mic. I was like, all right, I'm done with the Saturday shows, but I have to have something else that I'm committed to like once a week just to keep my mind like you have something to work on. You have a deadline. Like I need
Me too.
deadlines.
Me too. Yeah.
And I have found from doing the shows in the beginning, like it's gotten me a lot of other work because people kept saying like, hey, I see you're doing stuff online. Do you want to do my show? So it's been helpful in that sense.
No, me.
I still can't wait till it's over, but
No. I've taken this lockdown. I embraced it to address the part of the business that I have not addressed in over the last decade. Because you do the stage, you do the mic, you do the work on the craft and the writing, and you do all that. But I kind of never addressed the social media, the marketing, the creation of content, the other forms of getting your name out there. So with the lockdown, that's what I've been embracing. And I got 2 IG lives, Sunday and Wednesday. I got Al Martin this Wednesday. That's going to be exciting. Got a new book.
Yeah.
Facebook Live from a different location in New York, Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
I got the 6 feet 6 questions. I don't know if you saw that. 6 feet 6 questions, coronavirus one-on-one interview I'm doing with comedians all over the city. Where do you live, by the way?
I'm in Brooklyn.
You're in Brooklyn. Oh shit! I got to come see you then.
Okay.
I got to do 6 feet 6 questions. Just go to my Facebook. You'll see it. 6 feet 6 questions. It's fun.
I'm right near the park where there's actually a sign that you have to stand. Like it's the arrows that they have. I don't know if you've seen
nice.
them. Like stand 6 feet apart. So I could stand at one end and you could stand at the other.
Oh, sweet. Yeah,
that'd be pretty funny.
I had one comic, Reginald Ferguson. He pulled out the tape measure to make sure. But I've been Brian John, Mike Hernandez, Reginald Ferguson. Who else? Kenny Warren.
Nice.
All over the boroughs. I've hit like 3 or 4 out of 4 boroughs. So definitely, I'd love to have you. But yes, keeping busy, keeping productive, and having just recording and having some kind of schedule.
Yeah.
It's going to be when this thing is over, and some of us are going to hit the ground running, and some of us are not.
Yeah. And it's going to also be interesting because even when things start opening up, it'll be a slower opening. And then also it's like, well, now everybody's available. So your schedule is still going to take time to build back up, because everyone's schedule is pretty much cleared. So, it's still going to be,
It's going to be interesting. Yeah. gonna be interesting. That's why.
To quote Andrew Cuomo, yeah.
Yeah.
He says that
Yeah.
constantly. We love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like him. My wife loves him.
Yeah.
My wife is ready to vote for him. So she's all Cuomo.
Yeah.
She's Cuomo follower. Yeah. He's from Queens. Oh, we went to the same school.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yes, St. Gerard Majella. It was a Catholic school in Hollis, Queens, Jamaica, Queens,
Nice.
Hollis, Queens. Yeah,
Nice.
I remember it was when I was in the 4th grade. My teacher was bragging because at the time Mario Cuomo was the governor.
Okay.
She throwing a little brag that she taught governor's sons. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And now here we are. He's all grown up, and now he's governor. So
yeah,
we had the same 4th grade teacher, I believe.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome.
He's gonna go far. Anyway, Megan, we're gonna wrap this up. It's almost time to go. I think we got this pretty good. We went through this pretty good. I think you were concerned. You thought it was like a 15-minute set.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was just popping in, and then I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be such like heavy conversation up top, and I don't even know. Things are just coming out of my mouth that don't even make sense. No one wants to hear from me. I'm like, I just want to listen and learn and love everyone.
No, you were great. You were great. I know who to pick. I'm a good booker. I'm a good booker. Yeah, I don't regulate. I know who I'm getting on this. But thank you so much. Do you want to plug any plugs, anything?
Instagram. Instagram is my I'm on Instagram the most. I love Instagram. At the Meghan Hanley. That's me.
The Meghan Hanley. Instagram. The Meghan Hanley. Not to be
Meghan Hanley.
Not to be confused with other Meghan Hanley. There's another Meghan Hanley?
Apparently. Actually, there's another one on Long Island with a sister named Erin. So I have a sister named Erin as well. Never met her, just heard a lot about her.
Oh, wow. Okay, the Meghan Hanley on Instagram. Yeah. And on Tuesdays, you have your show.
Meg's Mike, 8 o'clock.
Meg's Mike and Tuesday. Every Tuesday?
Yes.
On Instagram Live. What time?
8 p.m. 8 p.m.
All right, Meghan Hanley, Meg's Mike, every Tuesday. She's on it. G-Force will be there.
She was on last week.
G-Force will be. I know she's going to be there. She's there every week. So every Tuesday, 8 p.m., Meg's Mike. Come say hi to Meg and G-Force. Watch. Have a great time. And I'll come swing by you. We'll do 6 feet, 6
questions. Yes, totally.
Absolutely. Okay, cool beans.
All right.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your quarantine. Be safe. Be happy. All right, and we'll talk some more. We'll girl talk.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye, Pudge.
Latest.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I got you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Meghan Hanley, the one and only. She's an absolute sweetheart. Totally love performing. Just watching her perform and also performing with her. She's a professional, as you heard earlier from our conversation.